Joining me now is Texas Congressman Keith Self. He's a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, your reaction to where we are. We did see a interview yesterday with President Zelensky, who was thankful for the security guarantees from the United States, but he also said that he believes that Vladimir Putin got what he wanted, and that was a photo op with President Trump.
These are dangerous days. We have already lost more people dead in the Ukraine war than we lost in the run-up to World War II. Look, the Europeans realize now is the time to get this stopped. France has warned their hospitals to be prepared for wartime-level casualties. We now need to move to phase two, as President Trump has said. He needs to work hard, and frankly, we need to cut off the sale of Russian energy around the world, both to India and to China. China imports a huge amount of Russian oil. They are funding the Russian war machine. But we need to stop this now before we get into World War III.
But doesn't that means our European partners have to do that, because they're the ones that are buying the energy? And to be clear, some of this stems from what President Biden did when he was in office. He actually cut off LNG exports of our LNG to the Europeans, so they had to buy the Russian energy. But now, Treasury Secretary Bassett was in Europe, and also other officials trying to make sure that they get the energy that they need from us. But can that happen fast enough?
Well, we need to make sure it happens fast enough. We produce more oil, fossil fuel energy than anybody in the world. Let's make sure they get it. I know they're building new LNG ships to get that energy to Europe. We need to make sure we need to do it, but we also need to sanction the countries that are buying Russian energy now. Many of our European allies have weaned themselves off of Russian energy. We need to make sure the rest of them do so and provide them the energy that they need, as you said. But this is the time to make something happen there to stop this before it spreads.
So you're more focused on India and on China.
No, I'm absolutely focused on China. India is also playing, and that's the recent meeting that you saw between Xi, Putin, and Modi. But we need to make sure that China is the pot stirrer here. We need to make sure that China understands we are going to stop this and stop this now.
Okay, interesting. Also, I want to ask you about the issue of immigration, because a federal judge has ruled against the Trump administration from ending temporary legal protections given to more than 1 million people from Haiti and Venezuela. This ruling allows 600,000 Venezuelans to stay and work in the U.S. even after those protections expired back in April. Congressman, what can be done about this? Because we have seen the violence, in particular from the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, that has infiltrated several American cities.
The thing I want to focus on is the Supreme Court has already warned the rogue judges, the activist judges, that they are not to defy the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's already spoken on this. 3 of the Supreme Court justices have warned the lower courts, and now is the time for the Supreme Court to take strong action to tell the lower courts, once the Supreme Court rules on something, they do not defy the Supreme Court. That's what's happening here. The district judges are trying to delay the Trump agenda until Trump leaves office as much as they can. They're trying to stop the Trump agenda. That's all they're doing. The Supreme Court needs to step in and take stronger action, because we continue to see violence for the illegal immigrants in the United States. That's the price that the taxpayers, the citizens of America, are paying.
All right. Well, we are certainly, of course, following this story and the legal battles very closely. But we want to talk about the business that's happening on Capitol Hill right now. There are just 10 legislative days left to prevent a government shutdown. House Democrats are now looking to their Senate counterparts to stop any GOP spending bill that excludes their input. But there is distrust between the party, and that seems to be growing after the March funding bill cleared with support from Senate Democrats, including Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. And this month, Democrats fear that there's going to be the same outcome. So Schumer wrote this to Democrats after he spoke with Hakeem Jeffries. Quote, "We are aligned on our shared priorities for September. Where Republicans obstruct, we press forward. Where they sow division, we answer with unity. Where they threaten a shutdown, we hold them accountable." Congressman, The Hill is reporting that many Democrats now believe that the political environment has shifted since March, and that they're expecting that Schumer will not repeat the decision that he made in March.
Look, the Republicans, the conservatives in the House of Representatives need to push for at least a year-long CR. We have broken the paradigm of the omnibus, huge spending bills. And in the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, we actually funded some defense funding without the commensurate spending on the Democrats' social welfare programs. We've broken the paradigm. Now the conservatives in Congress need to stand together for a year-long CR at a minimum, maybe through the election, stand together for a year-long CR so that we continue to break this paradigm of the Democrats holding things up. Look, the Republicans are not threatening a shutdown. The Democrats are. Schumer basically said he's threatening a shutdown. So let's be very clear. If we conservatives stand together in the House of Representatives with our majority, we will get a year-long CR and we will continue to break this paradigm of the Democrats holding spending bills hostage.
So what does that mean in particular for the provisions of the Affordable Care Act? Because that seems to be where the Democrats are really pushing forward here. You know, and I know that the White House supports a clean CR, but at the same time, you know, they're going to try and reverse the Medicaid cuts from the One Big Beautiful Bill / Act.
Right. Well, they're not going to reverse the Medicaid cuts. We strengthened Medicaid for those people that it is meant for: pregnant women, seniors, disabled, and children. We strengthened the program by getting illegals off of it and getting able-bodied adults off of it so they can contribute to the economy. Now, the Affordable Care Act, we do not need to extend the enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. We need to make sure that is a line in the sand. We need to stand against that firmly.
Congressman Keith Self, it's always great to have you on the program. Thank you. And 10 days to go. We're watching closely. Thank you, sir.
You bet.